Namaste everyone. Welcome to our weekly Bhagavad Gita class. Today will be our 20th day.
21st.
21st day. Oh, 19. So I like to invite Dr. T.P. Shashimarji to lead the class. T.P. floor is for you.
Namaskaram, Dilipji. We are the last but one day today. For last two sessions we were on discussions. It's nice to look at Bhagavad Gita brief from different point of view. Somebody had sent me a message asking how brief you can explain it. I think that is how we started Bhagavad Gita, one sloka as a question and one sloka as an answer. But then that made me to think, what happens if in real life problems, how do you understand, how can you have a comparison what happens around you? When I am supposed to get a job, I am supposed to do because the whole Bhagavad Gita is for a job, work. So how do you appear for an interview? Before appearing for an interview, what sort of a feeling people have? Definitely everybody has panic, everybody has tension. Some people have distress due to tension. Some people become more active due to the stress which makes you active. That is the psychological positive aspect. But here Arjuna had the feeling of totally lost. That is Arjuna Vishada Yoga. As most of the people today keep talking about stress, which is not positive, which is negative, is generally considered as stress. But tension is the right word to be used. Distress or tension. So that could be the first chapter. So after that, what happens? You have got an analysis of what is to be done. That is Sankhya Yoga. It's like an interview or maybe a test process. For job, you have an interview. So that interview part can be seen as making your identity clear. No more weeping now. Anyway, you are ready to fight to get a job or lost, no problem. So you are back to normal. So second chapter is actually back to normal. You are able to think, you have your identity and prove that yes, you can do. Do what? Once you get a job, you got a job, you are working in that. So third chapter is totally Karma Yoga. Second chapter is like an interview. First chapter is before interview, you have that tension time. Third can be the Karma Yoga is what you got into the job. Then Jnana Karma Sannyasa Yoga. There is a lot of orientation program. Understand what you want. You get an identity card and you show that everywhere, so you feel proud of yourself. So you know what you are supposed to do because you get an orientation program. You get skill development programs. You are into management at different stratum. Sometimes you feel, oh, this is not that important. This is important. You can distinguish things separately. So you are a person who got into Jnana Karma Sannyasa Yoga. A slightly experienced, on job, doing very active, that sort of a person. So what happens after that? After that, you get paid, you get salary, you get recognition, you get award, you get all that result what you want. That is the result when you get a peace of mind, you are happy. Probably that is the fifth chapter called Sannyasa Yoga. So you are happy in what you got. You enjoy the status of life. And then you have the sixth chapter, Atma Samyamana Yoga, where you are almost like a retirement. you are at the topmost, but action is more important, but you are thinking yourself about what happened earlier, etc. etc. So that part is called Atma Samyamana Yoga. You think what happened. You are in harmony, you are in peace, you are in happy, you are in blissful state of life. Probably that can be called as Atma Samyamana Yoga. So the first 6, chapter 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is about an individual who is in life getting on to different steps, and up to that Atma Samyamana Yoga, from the troubled time to that. So Bhagavad Gita can be over actually from there. So first 6 chapter is good enough. Bhagavad Gita is over. Right? You don't require to go further. But now, who made this person to become like this? When I get a job, there is somebody who interviewed me. But that time he did not explain what is his capacity. I don't know him. Then the next bunch of slokas, or maybe the next part of Bhagavad Gita, 7th to 12th, is to understand your boss. The CEO is to be understood by you, so that you can also aspire to become a CEO. Not that you are happy with an employee, but you can become an employer tomorrow. That state of affair where you get a full credit for all the activity is when you get a total handle on your boss. Your boss is very close to you. That happens in the beginning. But then you should become very close to the boss. That is also essential. That rapport is kept. That means you have the access card for everything what the boss is doing. So you are, or maybe Krishna felt Arjuna is fit for that, like my boss felt that I am fit for that. So the 7th chapter is Jnana Vijnana Yoga. Understand what is good and what is bad. You are in a strategic world. That means you are able to understand the absolute effect of your job. Earlier it was only a relative understanding. What my immediate boss is doing, what I am supposed to do. But here now the absolute, what the objective and scope of the company is understood by you. That is called Jnana Vijnana Yoga. Then Akshara Brahma Yoga. What is Akshara Brahman? Yeah, you become a person whose name is also imprinted along with the company. Suppose you are into politics. It takes little bit of time to get into the highest place. Once you become the highest, the party itself is known by your capacity, your name. So you understand the God, get the benefit, and maybe materially you get a better package, you get, company will take care of you. In case you are sick, company takes care of it. All the benefits are given. So Aksharam means you are not going to be disposed of. You are not going to end your life. You have a stamp with the unit in which you are working. That means you are becoming very close to the company, or company understands you perfectly well. That is Akshara Brahma Yoga. Raja Vidya, Raja Guhya Yoga, the most secret, the supreme. There is a, you cannot enter an office. There are a lot of restrictions in some office. Unless the boss is there, unless 2-3 people are there, you cannot enter there, because you can do any malpractice there. But a supreme personality gives a master key to you. The access card is given to you, where the password is given to you. You can enter wherever you want. That is the most confidential. The supreme power is close to you, and you are very close to the supreme power. At the this, once you reach, you are on top of the company. Actually, that is where we stopped. 9th chapter. That means you got close to the God. What is that access card? What is that master card which you have? What is the secret code? What is the password? What is the supreme power which you can use to access everything with the company of God? That is Bhakti. So 9th chapter starts with the Bhakti part of it. 10th also we can specify some more things. Raja Vidya, Raja Guhya Yogam. The 9th chapter is good enough. That's where we stopped. Then the 10th one is Vibhuti Yogam. It is you are talking about the password, key and all that, and the CEO. But then what is that you become equivalent to a spokesperson, a PR. Vibhuti Yoga is the Bhakta. Devotion is inside you. Then you become a devotee. You get recognized by the company that you can speak on behalf of the company, the PRO or the spokesperson, and you are the representative of the company. So this is the absolute bhakti. This is what is called Vibhuti Yoga. It can be understood by many ways. So I am thinking like this. When somebody asked me a very specific question, I thought this is how people can understand. So Vibhuti Yoga, once you reach, the company is in your hands. You know how to control. Not that God controls you, you control the God, because you are the most, because whatever you speak becomes the company's words. That is called Bhakta or the Vibhuti Yoga. Then you get an official dress, or you have to recognize. People need this sort of a form to show that you have. So until now probably you are only getting onto the normal casual uniform. You don't have a uniform by yourself. But when you reach at the highest, even the Prime Minister need to have a dress code, and probably somebody else needs a dress code. So you have to show off. So the real show off comes, and that show off is the universal form. How do you make people to understand you? When you walk, you are like a gentleman. Until now your actions are good enough. So the official ability to show that yes, I can do this. And if boss can do that, and you understand that you are with such a company, you start glorifying the boss, and you should know him. Therefore you can go to his house, you can understand what he does. Every bit of boss is understood by you. Otherwise the contact was only official. So the 11th chapter is knowing him very close, getting very specific activity done by Bhagavan. That part is called Vishwarupa Darshana. Then once you do that, you become the best worker. You know this is how things should be done. So you get a lot of devotees under you, and you can start demanding, or you can create a workbook. You can create you can sign contract on behalf of Bhagavan. On behalf of the company, you started signing. You become the signatory authority for signing. That is what is the devotional service, which is called the Bhakti Yoga. You keep attaching people. Assume that, okay, you like somebody and you start associating with them. What is next to be done? You should start associating your people along with you to become part of the company. So that means you become a recruiter now. So up to 12th chapter, if you know, first 6 chapters is by individual. The second 6 chapters is the company, or maybe the Bhagavan, and the devotee and the Bhagavan becomes one, and joining together 12th chapter. This is one major part of Bhagavad Gita. Then probably you must see that once you get close to the company, what happens is you get very close. You cannot get out of the company. Everything what you do is also understood by the company. So until then you are pretending that you are very close to God. You are showing what you are, but then your Swabhavam will be shown to them. There will be a lot of judge inside you. Should I do like this? Is it correct the way I am doing? Is it that you recruited a lot of people now? They will start looking at you, and then you will have to show them whether it is right or not. That is called the Gunatraya Vibhaga Yoga. Each part of it is understood by your people, and then you yourself start looking at you. Is it the way I have to pose? Should I have to change myself? So realizing my Rajasika, Sattvika, Tamasika style of reacting to people also have to be changed, modified, because I've got a better status now. That becomes a tie, or that becomes a problem. That becomes stopping my freedom. So it's like putting me inside my own prison, which made me not to react in the style which I want. And how should I do this to get out of it, or maybe do better? How do I learn this? How to behave with this? How to get rid of these problems? Assume there is a problem. Oh, this is how I should handle people so that I don't get this bad name, or I will get a good name. That is called Purushottama Yoga. You become the Uttama Purusha. Uttama Purusha is becoming actually God. So you create a map, you create a plan. In fact, that 15th chapter, Purushottama Yoga can be called as Veda. That is where how to eat, how to behave, all your physical, emotional, intellectual, social, up to the spiritual level is being put into that Purushottama Yoga, 15th chapter. That's a beautiful way of looking at Bhagavad Gita, 15th chapter. That's where what to eat, because there is a food eating also have to be trained by, because you are in the highest position where people look at you. You have to be clean, otherwise it becomes a problem. What is 16th chapter? How do you make your people also to react to you so that you don't create problems for others? Deva, Asura, Sambat, Vibhaga, Yoga. Sometimes you have to be very tough. Asura's quality has to be, because otherwise work will not happen. But then you have to have that pious nature, because you represent a company. And your God never scolded you all throughout. Bhagavan Krishna never scolded Arjuna. So how do you make this? You have to show your power. You have to make people to realize that it is not that smooth. So you have to go in that path of understanding, realizing, keeping your views very clear. So you have to get to the people with whom you are associated also along with you with a good tie-up, so that the wisdom can go further. You are called a person of wisdom, for which what you need is the 17th chapter, Shraddhatraya Vibhaga Yoga. You need that key to open everybody's heart and make the next person to get into that highest level, for which what you need is Om Tat Sat, the realization. You get adjusted with the situation and you become equal to that Shraddhatraya Vibhaga Yoga. Actually, Bhagavad Gita is over here. You don't require anything else. With this, Bhagavad Gita can be completed. Then why do you need another one more chapter, 18th chapter? The 18th chapter is to make you to realize what is the content of the 13th, 14th, 15th, 16th, 17th chapter. If at all something is not working, if at all you are not able to judge under you all the people, if at all you are not able to make that path for the others to follow you, if at all there is a problem in your assessment of your people who are working under you, all that is possible. In that case, what do? You have to pardon them. You have to be a precise person who knows, oh, this person also have got a new idea, let him work in his style. Tomorrow he may become better. So that is what Bhagavan says at the end. You are the person who is controlling you. I gave you all the knowledge about the company to take it further in the activity of making a profit for the company, making the moksha sannyasa yoga. If everything is not working, you become your judge. You start becoming the presiding officer of your activity. Yadechati tata kuru. What you want, you can do. I have no problem. That's what Bhagavan says. Probably somebody asked me, how do you explain it in today's context? There are many ways of looking at Bhagavad Gita and management, Bhagavad Gita and sociology, Bhagavad Gita and psychology. I have a close friend of mine who talks about Bhagavad Gita. The whole thing can be explained through psychologically. I can do that. Nitya Chaitanya Yeti was a person who gave the Swadhyaya of Bhagavad Gita. If somebody wanted to read Swadhyaya, there is a Malayalam version of Nitya Chaitanya Yeti's Bhagavad Gita. Beautiful Bhagavad Gita. Probably that is where I started learning Bhagavad Gita and enjoying Bhagavad Gita. That's totally psychological approach. So today what I did is a management approach, a company approach. We used to have a lot of debates with the people who really understand Bhagavad Gita. Those who learned, not those who superficially learned. Those who learned the in-depth of Bhagavad Gita, when we discuss, we start making, like the mud is given to you, you can make whatever form you want. Bhagavad Gita is such, where you can. Then only the dialogue and discussions also become so powerful and happy. Most of the people know Bhagavad Gita in the superficially heard from somewhere. Then start discussing, that becomes a real problem. And it needs a lot of effort to learn, look at it from different angles. So Bhagavad Gita is a big Pandora box. You can look at it from different angle, explore yourself, and then understand. That is what is Bhagavad Gita real learner needs to do. But I hardly see people who are learners. We see a lot of people who are lecturing around. We hardly see people who discuss. We hardly see people who look at the essence of it in the true sense. Therefore, most of my learning was from maybe Shankara, maybe, yeah, Chinmaya is good because he looked at how it needs to be sold to West, but that may have its own limitations. Yeti also was in West, but he looked at only in the Eastern philosophical, Eastern psychological style. There are a lot of people. One of my good friend from Kanyangad, there is a Anandashram. He used to write the biological perspective of Bhagavad Gita, series of essays. So you have different interpretations possible. Nice to have many views. So who made Bhagavad Gita? It is not Krishna, it is not Arjuna. I may say Arjuna has a bigger role than Krishna. And Vyasa, yes, probably. Narada, yes. All the people who had a character in Mahabharata also had. More than that, probably all the interpreters added together, all of them have contributed to Bhagavad Gita. So today's Bhagavad Gita is not what is owned by Krishna, it is not owned by Arjuna, it is not owned by anybody. It is owned by many contributors. So yes, it is quite possible. It is not a big problem to write pages and pages or books after books. I have got Chidananda Puri Swami, who has written each one chapter, one book. I was blessed to be associated with these people, had interaction, had a lot of time with them. So Chidananda Puri's interpretations on Bhagavad Gita, chapter by chapter, each one book. That's also beautiful. Right? I didn't had an opportunity to go through all the chapters, but few books which when I was in Kerala, I had that time I think 8 chapters or 9 chapters were finished. Okay, I think good enough. I can go on and on, but that is not the intention at all.
Namaste. I do have a question. Recently I have seen a video of you explain a God. A God is not to believe in something or someone, rather it is to be realized within. So it's a very basic question. In reality, what is God or Bhagavan?
What is God according to you, Adra?
Something universal or something. I don't know exactly.
No, what is universal? We are all universal, right?
Yes, it's something like maybe I may be over philosophizing, but according to me, it's like an ocean, and we are maybe a drop in the ocean, a water droplet in the ocean.
No, these are all. I just wanted to know as frankly. Don't think about what somebody else told, like a drop, ocean. These are all many people used those words. Assimilation of all that idea today, as per you, who is God and what is God? See, I'll tell you. If you are not able to locate your footwear, you wanted to run somewhere, you are not able to see the purse. Immediately you say, "Oh God, is it the God who kept your items at home?" Okay,
No.
something has stolen or somewhere somebody has fallen, somewhere some fire. Oh God, is it that He has fired it or what? Where is the drop and ocean here? See,
Nothing there.
yeah, actually, when I have a problem, normally what I do is immediately I go back to my mother and then tell all my problems to my mother. Okay, somebody may have father. I didn't had that opportunity. When in my thought process, all my problems I used to go and then tell my mother. My mother is not there. So what do I do now? I need someone somewhere permanently with me. That's a feeling. So for me, my mother is my God. Her energy, her feeling, her blessing, her creation. So I consider for every one of us, we are all connected together. That is where you said the universe or maybe the ocean, which is everywhere I can access, anytime I can access. and that energy source where I can access anytime, anywhere, where I have a faith. So traditionally there was no God. If you look at the whole Vedas, there are no gods. There are only 5 energies: earth, water, fire, air, and space. But then only when we need these to be condensed form in a materialistic form, created the form of God by those people who could visualize it in our form. Because what I can visualize is only in my form, right? But then they thought, probably they must have thought, yes, I should not give the normal form. I should give a different color which looks like, as you said, universe, as you said, ocean, all has got a blue color. That is because that frequency wave is one which is close to darkness, which is not dark, which is not black, which is close to black is blue. Okay, so black is one portion which we can give, but that is dark. So we need something which is not dark but which has a light which can be understood. That's why when we look at sky we have blue. When you have look at water, actually water is not blue. You take it in a cup, it is not blue. But when the large quantity is there, it looks blue. So that could be one of the reason where God has got the blue color. Right? There is no other reason. So that is a visualization of a poet, visualization of an artist who gave that color and gave God. So from that time onwards, for everybody, God means Rama. Right? Then some poet would have written, one yuga is over. The conflict between family to family is not what we have. Conflict inside family is what we have. So how do you depict this problem and say that there is a God who will help you to solve your problems? But it's actually stupid to believe that God solves problems. We belong to that country, that place where God has solved problems, but still we have bigger problems or maybe more problems. If you look at Ramayana, we understand, yeah, probably Ramayana had a bigger problem, Rama had a bigger problem, Krishna had a bigger problem. So all of them had problems. So how do you stay within problem and solve problems? So we gave them some forms. If at all, they are the most popular gods, right? But then there are different ways of looking at God. Only 5 types are recognized in Bharatiya Shastram. One is Ganapatyam, Ganapati. All the Vignam, Prabhas, thought process, brain has to be used, Indriyas has to be used, skill has to be, because these are all for people. For no other animal require a god Ganesha to become skillful. But we need some symbolic role model. So therefore Ganesha was made. And then Shiva, yes, you need to have concentration, meditation, all that. That God was Shiva. You need energy to work. So therefore Shakti was given. You need the universe to understand the way you said. Even blue color will not come if Surya is not there. So sun energy was posted. Right? These are all different forms of our own creation, manifestation, which became so imprinted in us, we cannot think beyond this. But if you look at the principle of that energy, which is, when we say that it is within us, why do you want to look outside? We are part of it. But why do you want to look always outside but not inside? Though people do meditation, people understand that is the highest of realization. Still immediately after that they go to temple and then do this. Even when you wanted to do meditate, you don't want anything to be seen. You want to be inside you, focus inside, concentrate inside, but still they will keep a bimba and light and all the people around and then start focusing outside. It's a big contradiction. That is like you are doing a copywriting or handwriting improvement even when you are in a PG, because you never improved it. You are only pretending that you can write it better only when you focus on that. Casually when you write, you have to write it so coolly with a beautiful handwriting. That is the purpose of giving you the training. But people got trained but they never learned. That's a problem. So God cannot be seen entirely different from other understanding of God in different levels and different stages which people have made. Okay, that is why I keep saying there is no God. Actually, these are only our manifestation. I keep explaining that in different ways. By saying in LKG book, you need a snake to be shown and say this is snake, this is snake, this is snake, this is snake. The idea of teaching you what is a snake or this is the picture of a snake is when you really see a snake, you must realize that this is the snake. Or when you see a rope, you should know this is not a snake, this is a rope. So you need that symbolization to be imprinted in you, for which you need a picture to be shown. But then you should realize this is only a picture, the real snake is something else. And it is not the picture which is given as a snake is what only snake. Every category of such animals are there, which are all in the form of this, not that specific style. Different style it is possible to be seen around you. Okay, so God is a concept. Even in Bharatiya Shastram, God is never in the form. God is a concept. That is why Bhagavan says, in Veda, I am the Veda. Why do Bhagavan himself says, I am the extreme knowledge? Why Bhagavan says, I am the extreme fire, I am the extreme water? He says, every energy form, you must see me. Every work, I am the best worker. Right? So, God himself is telling, I don't have a form. And you have to realize me in the action. For from the love, the mother's love to the child, I am that love. In flower, I am the best flower. I am in taste, I am the best taste. That means it makes you to become happy. So what gives you happiness is what you should concentrate. Work is what makes you happy. Otherwise you are working, but working without real productivity is a waste of time. So Bhagavan says your work is important, your health is important, your job is important, your helping others is also important. That activity when you do, you become very close to God. So it's a sankalpa. So what is God? If somebody asks, it is a sankalpa. But sankalpa need to be, the dream has to become realization only when you understand the whole aspect of it. So you need to become a learner. So first faith, but then know the God. That's a transformation which all of us have to have. That is what is called realization. But many people pretend that they have realization. Many people pretend that they are into meditation, the so-called samadhi. Though when the word meditation, it's not modern meditation which is being sold by people and then propagated by people. The real samadhi, which is under the 6th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, explains samadhi. So that's why I said up to 6th chapter, you know, you got the solution for your problems. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Chris raised hand. Yeah. Reverend Chris.
Yes, in studying Bhagavad Gita, is it best not only to read, but to have a teacher or someone that knows that you can question and always get deeper explanation?
Yeah, I guess all knowledge needs a better interpretation, better dialogue, lot of questions. Today, learning Bhagavad Gita, you can have a YouTube, you can hear chanting, there are meanings given, there are interpretations given by many people, but that is not good enough. What is essentially required is when you read, some reflections comes inside you. When you get some reflections inside you, you need to get a clarification whether my thoughts are correct or not. Because it's all the way with your knowledge. When you read Bhagavad Gita, it is entirely different from or what knowledge which I had probably when I started reading 30 years back. The way I reflected is not the way I am reflecting today. That reflection comes only when you can have dialogue with the people. So every knowledge comes only when you have discussions, understanding. Otherwise, I think Google is good enough, Wikipedia is good enough, dictionary is good enough. You don't require teachers. I don't think that's good enough, because Bhagavad Gita is not an independent textbook. It is in middle of Mahabharata war. So Mahabharata is one big book in which some small portion is Bhagavad Gita. So you are reading some small chapter, some portion of a big book. Okay, now if I start prescribing you should read whole Mahabharata to understand Bhagavad Gita, one life is not good enough sometimes. Therefore, what people have done is, the original Bhagavad Gita is modified many times so that it becomes an independent entity by itself. But it is not independent in the true sense, because it is part of the bigger book. So when we talk about the first chapter, there are a lot of characters coming. If you don't know the history of those characters, hundreds of characters will come. If you don't know the history of those characters, Bhishma Pitamaha, when Bhishma, one name comes, whoever has understood or whoever has read Mahabharata has got a big story behind that person. So understanding that person is very, very important, which became important because when Bhishma has fallen, only Bhagavad Gita started. If Bhishma was alive, Bhagavad Gita would not have been there.
Right.
So therefore, lot of things have to be understood. So if somebody reads Bhagavad Gita, oh, Bhishma is only one character, your understanding the whole Bhagavad Gita becomes less. Why Arjuna is so much worried? Only when I am writing a competitive exam, I know that only 3 vacancies are there. There are 1,000 people writing. Then I know, oh, this is very serious activity. Otherwise, I am only looking at a question paper and answering. I believe that, oh, what I have done is correct, I will pass. No, you don't pass. You don't get a job. So you must know the context in which you are writing the exam.
Right.
That is more important.
Thank you.
Ultimately, whatever forms of God we are worshipping, everything is to attract our attention and to keep a feeling inside our to know that we are having the quality of God, and ultimately we should realize that we are God. Every creature is God.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. When you are keeping a beautiful scenery in your house, you are not enjoying the scenery, but the remembrance of earlier scenery, that rejoicing will come into you, because you are, oh, this is a beautiful seashore. There is nothing a seashore there, it's only a picture of a seashore. So you feel, oh, I am very close to the seashore, right? So the creation of that feeling is inside you. Similarly, the feeling of God is inside you only when you have that taste at least some point of time. Not every day you are going to seashore. But seeing it, my earlier visit, or somebody would have explained, this is how a seashore is. There is a sound of waves. There is a cool breeze. All that will be inside you. So it is to recollect. It is to make you to remember. That is what it is. That is why Appayad Kishudar told once, Rupam Rupa Vivarjidasya Bhavado Dhyayena Yat Kalpitam. The form of God is not there. I gave form to God. One big mistake what I did is I gave different form. I gave sari to Saraswati. But who knows whether Saraswati had sari or not? Whether Krishna had yellow dress or different colors, how do we know? Some painter has given that's it. Rupam, the shape is given by somebody. Stutya nirvajaniyata agila guru duri hridayanmaya. I keep on praising her eyes are very beautiful. What is beauty is defined by me or what? For Chinese people, narrow eye is beautiful. Japanese people, different eye is beautiful. For Indian people, big eye is very beautiful. So I gave big eyes to every god. It is not acceptable to other people. They will say, yeah, it's not beauty. Right? So we give different shapes. See, earlier actresses had a different shape, body shape. We gave a different shape to God and goddesses. We made somebody can dance, somebody cannot dance. Somebody has got a big belly, somebody doesn't have a big belly. Whether real God has got that shape or not, who knows? Who has seen the God? Nobody has seen. It's only an artistic perception. Oh, this is how God is. Correct? How do we know whether they had a white hair or a black hair? How old they were? Well, picturizing we didn't add. But we know, oh, young Krishna, Bala Krishna. And then we gave it real Krishna different age. So I keep discussing about God and goddesses, saying different God has got different age. So this is marriage age, this is after marriage, this is when they become mother, grandmother, like that. You know, you can categorize them. So Stutya, I keep praising them with the different styles. Vyaptitvam cha maya krita. God is everywhere, but then still we have churches, mosques, that's only prayer hall. But Indian Bharatiya style, we kept God is here. You go and take bath in this river, then great. What is that water different from the other water? Water is one and the same, because every water gets evaporated, it rains back. So how that water cannot be mixed with some other water? Every water is mixed each other. How do we say that, you know, you go to this temple, then only you get nothing like that. Everywhere God is there. So we arrested God in some few places. That's another stupid mistake. Doshatrayam mat kritam. 3 mistakes we did. One, giving shape to God. Second, explaining what is God. Third one, keeping them in very specific places. These are all not, these are required. Yeah, I need a house, I need a school, I need a place to, but as you grow, you should know the whole world is my house. Right? Otherwise, a small child think this is only my house. When you grow, you create another house by yourself. Then you go for transfer at different cities, you will say every city is my city. The whole universe is mine. That's why we say Vasudhaiva Kudumbakam. That is a bigger concept.
Also, one more question. If self has no gender, is that concept right in the sense that masculine and feminine personalities are within the mind or something? Or something within oneself? A person who appears to be a male or female have both the qualities of both the genders.
There are three different things which makes a human. One is physical. The look of a lady is entirely different from the look of a gentleman. Correct? By look we can understand, oh, this is a girl, this is a boy. Physical. By the organs which you have, by the way they present themselves, all that physical way of behavior, everything can be seen. Second one is emotional. Ladies are supposed to have more emotional quality. That's why we say that no, ladies are good, kind, they know how to love. They keep everything close to them. But don't you see some ladies who don't have that feature? Don't you see some gentlemen who have got more than that. So these combinations are possible. You can also see some boys, if they take the shape of a very close to the no Purusha also, very close to the boys. You don't even realize by the way they present themselves, by the way they walk, by the way they. So there can be a dilution in your Purusha Swabhava, the gentleman's man quality, and the gender need not be based on the Sharira and the feeling. The next important factor is Buddhi. The way in the Buddhi is being used, generally say, gens have got the critical thinking, decision making authority, they are much better. But you see, over a period of time, when ladies got involved more and more in the practical world, they captured it more. Right? So we can have a mix of all these. That is possible. So it is not by the sex organs, it is not by the physical organs alone, it is not with the emotion alone. A mix of all these three is what gives them the ability. So in each Purusha, a man, there is a female quality, there is a female quantity also. How much is it more, how much is it less, is what makes. So intellectual, assume that that is a male nature and that is a female nature is emotion. The mix of that can make you to qualify more close to this, more close to that. That is why we have the mixed gender also now available, right? Physically also they become confused. Physically also they are confused, emotionally also they are confused, intellectually also they are confused. I believe that if at all we believe Brahma is the person who is creating, Brahma is a researcher, he keep on doing research on these modifications. He keep on changing the nature. Elephant was once long back, maybe millions of years back, elephant was totally living in the water. It knows swimming. It has got the beck of like a trunk was there. But then what has happened? It started changing over a period of time. Right? There are many animals who migrated in the way it lives. Therefore, it started changing its life, the pattern. The height of people also keep on changing based on the environment, based on the geography. Why Chinese people and Japanese people are little shorter and their eyes are like this? That is because sunlight is more, irradiation is more, your eyes will become automatically blinking eye. Wherever you are in a dark place, the sunlight is less, your eyes will become blown up more. Because your cone of vision adjustment is happening based on the external light condition. Suppose you have a small child who is kept inside a dark room most of the time, definitely their eyes will become bigger. Very simple. So how do this shape came? Physical shape based on the environment. How do somebody becomes very, very cruel? Somebody become very soft based on their environment. Based on the food what we eat. Bhagavad Gita 15th chapter, which talks about those, the Trayam, the three Swabhavas, Rajasic, Tamasic, Sattvic. You are a very pious person. You are a very dynamic person who does activities more. You are a person who takes always like to sleep based on the food what you eat. Microbiotics or macrobiotics. So assume that, see, do you know there is a big research which says the wisdom tooth earlier every child had. These generation, most of the children don't have wisdom tooth at all. That is because people found that wisdom tooth is not required for human being. You will see in America, most of the places they keep a board removing wisdom tooth. When everybody removes wisdom tooth, Brahma would have thought, why should I give a wisdom tooth to them? By birth itself, let them get rid of wisdom tooth. Correct? So if parents don't have wisdom tooth, children will not have. The parents' little qualities, the DNA pattern, your thought process itself will have a lot of impact on the next generation. That's what will happen. If everybody starts swimming, I am sure the next generation people will be able to swim without even learning swimming. That's how it is.
I wanted to add one small thing.
Yeah.
Previously, in our olden generation, everybody is monkeys. Correct, na sir? From after usage, that we are standing and we are at a hand and all like this shape. So constantly use. So accordingly, shape is getting formed.
Jatyanda parinamam prakrityat purat. Jatyanda parinamam prakrityat purat. The evolution happens by birth based on the prakriti, the nature, how it needs to be. The nature determines the evolution. That is what Bharatiya Shastra says. It is not Darwin who invented. Maybe 2000 years back, before Darwin, this sloka was written. Jatyanda parinamam prakrityat purat. Parinamam means evolution. The literary meaning of parinamam is evolution. But that is determined by prakriti. Prakriti means in which place you are living. Geographical conditions also will change.
Is this anything to do with the concept of Ardhanarishwar?
These are all part of it. We have two different versions inside us. That is what shows by Ardhanarishwara. And that is how we have a concept. When we are silent, when we look inside us, we can see every quality of human being inside each one of us.
Srigala Payapulli.
Yeah, that is in the 13th chapter, 17th sloka. Jyotishamapi tajyoti tamasa para uchyate. I think that is the sloka. Jyotishamapi tajyoti tamasa para uchyate. Nanam neyam nanagamyam hridi sarvasya vishtitam. What is Brahman? What is Jnanam? What is Neyam? What is knowledge? What is that I have to acquire? Jnanagamyam means what is that I am supposed to acquire. Jnanam means what is that knowledge which I have. Neyam means what is that I am supposed to learn. Sarvasya hridi vishtitam. Everything is inside our heart. If I am thinking of something to learn, that means that is already inside me. If I am thinking of going somewhere, definitely that place is there with me. If I say I want to go to New York, definitely New York is already inside me. Otherwise I don't think about New York, right? If I can prescribe this is what I want, this is what I know. So what is that? My concept of thinking is beyond boundaries. So this says Jyotisham api jyoti tat tamasaha para uchyate. When you think about the Jyotis, the light, beyond that there is a world, tamas, which is dark, which is understood by me, and that is existing inside me, and that is what is called Atma. What is Sarvavyapakam? Everywhere it is existing. What is Brahman? That which I understand with that creativity which I have, for what? For getting knowledge. That knowledge getting itself is the starting point of thinking about the knowledge. That is what is called the Brahmatnanam, Brahmaikyatnanam, the unity of Atma into understanding of everything around me. That is what is actually the ray of knowledge. We call it as a ray of knowledge. If I have a ray of knowledge, I will be able to acquire that. If I don't have a ray of knowledge, I cannot acquire that. The ray of knowledge is the spark which comes into me. So Jnanam is that spark. You need not know everything about it. You have an intention to get that knowledge itself is the knowledge. How much gravity of knowledge you will get will come to you later. So that's called the ray of knowledge. Where does it come from? Does it come from the dark or the light? The light comes when there is a darkness only. If there is no dark, light will not be visible. So that is what it says. You are aware that there is a darkness. That means you don't have knowledge itself is the first knowledge. And then you start looking for knowledge. When I say I want to go to New York, that means I am not in New York. That knowledge where I am staying should be there. So I know where I am staying. Therefore I know where I have to go. Jyotisham Jyoti. That knowledge of light and no light area. Tamasa param uchyate. Therefore that darkness is the highest knowledge. What is that darkness? I don't have knowledge. If I think of going somewhere, where I am staying, that knowledge is essential. Then only I can think in which mode I have to go. If I know that I am in India, I have to go to New York, I know, I have to fly. So I must know the mode of going there only when I know where I am and where I have to go. So if I know tamas, if I know light, both are known to me, then I know. Tamasa paramuchyate jnanam neyam jnanagamyam. So what I have, knowledge what I have, that where I am standing. Neyam, where I have to go, New York. Jnanagamyam, how I have to go, that path of knowledge, acquiring that knowledge. Hridi sarvasya vishtitam. Everything that stays inside your hridaya. And who is that hridaya? The controller of that hridaya is my creativity. Therefore, who is God? Hridaya guhara madhye kevalam brahma matram. Inside me that creativity is there. That creativity is the God within me. Every sloka can be seen like this. Beautiful. Yeah, it's a beautiful sloka. 13th sloka. No, 13th chapter, 17th sloka. Yeah. I marked it as important. So some marking is there, some writing is there. I have written the ray of knowledge. That's good enough for me to understand and interpret. So when I read, I write the ray of knowledge. That's the content of that knowledge. Yeah. Good question, Sri Lekha.
Acharya,
Yeah.
9th chapter,
Ah. Hold.
22, sloka 22.
Like that to tell, don't terrify me. 9th chapter and then you stopped. I thought I should tell all the 9th chapter. 22nd. Ananyas chintayanto mam ye jana paryupasate tesham nityabhiyuktanam yogatshemam mahamyaham. I think I have explained this very detailed that time itself. Ananyas chintayanto mam. Without any other thought process, your whole concentration. Suppose now there is a question which is asked. 13th chapter, 17th sloka. How did I explain it? Because my whole concentration, my attention was there. If my attention is not there, I will not be able to do it good. Right? Is it because, oh, somebody told me like this interpretation like this? I never heard people interpreting like this and then tell you it just comes out. How does it comes out? Ananyas chintayanto mam ye jana paryupasate. I get into that without any other thought process. Bhagavan himself told, Tesham nityabhiyuktanam yogatshemam mahamyaham. I will support you to keep all your knowledge, all your activity, all your ability to support you to make it happen. This is a contractual agreement between God and the devotee. God is telling, don't worry, I will be with you. You need anything, I will help you. Only one guarantee. Ananyas chintayantoma. While discussing this, don't think something else. Then your attention will go. When your attention goes, your work will become diluted. Okay. What is attention? Not your eyes, not your ears, not your nose, not your indriyas, your thought process, not even thought process. These are all external. What is internal to you? The Atma, the judge. There God is existing. So who is talking now? It is not the buddhi of Dr. TPS. It is the Atma of Dr. TPS who is talking. Who is making me to tell this? That God himself. And who is that God? My creativity. That Brahma is inside me who makes me to interpret like this and speak like this. Because I am totally inside this. I am not thinking something else. If I start thinking something else, oh, I read this somewhere, I heard this somewhere, somebody told me like this, then I will only use that knowledge. How do I use my inner knowledge? When that knowledge becomes mine and it is inside me with my interpretation, when I am doing Ananyas Chindayando Mam, without any other thought process, Ejana Paryupasade, those people who will be with me, Tesham Nityabhiyuktanam, as per their wishes, Yogatchemam Mahamyaham, their Yogatchemam. Yoga means I want knowledge, you got it. I want fame, you got it. I want money, you got it. I want strength, I got it. That is yoga. You got. That got is your yoga. Kshema means I will keep it safe. I will guarantee you can keep it safe and use it whenever you want. So you will not forget. Somebody, oh, I forgot, I knew this. That means you had yogam, but kshemam is not there. You are not kept it safe. How do you keep it safe? Every time polish, use it, skill. It has to become your skill. I learned Bhagavad Gita is not good enough. I must polish it every time. The more number of time I teach, did I explain 13th chapter 17th sloka like this earlier? No. Did I explain 9th chapter 22nd sloka like this earlier? No. This is new today because I learned it much better. Earlier I did it, yeah. I did it much better. Now I did it better than that. So always I must make it better. So if I can do it, then I am becoming creative. If I am just copying and telling, I am not creative. Then I don't have God inside me. I am doing like a machine. That is what is required. So you must go up with the knowledge. With the creativity. Knowledge is Saraswati, creativity is Brahma. So wherever knowledge is there, creativity will be there. Wherever knowledge is there, creativity. Wherever creativity, knowledge will rise. They will become together. That's the Sankalpa which we have.
Acharya Nandi Namaskar.
I can go on and on, hours together, but that is not my intention. My intention is make somebody to think and ask questions. Arjuna is not there, Krishna is not there. No questions, no Bhagavad Gita. It seems everybody understood everything. There are no questions.
It will take a little time to think. You know, sometimes people have questions and they forget. A little shy to ask questions. Yeah. Anyway, it is interesting. I'm just for me it's refreshing. Yeah. Because I used to attend Chinmaya Swami's talk. You know, he used to come to Purnadhara Chinmaya.
My blessing was I never attended anybody's Bhagavad Gita. I only read Swadhyayam from Yeti, Swadhyayam from different people, maybe learned a lot of slokas by heart, then started listening from everybody. That's all recorded because I never met Chinmaya. I only had some interaction with Chidananda Puri, some interaction with Narayana Tapovana Swamikal. I think they are the only two people where I had. Then my guru was there. Wherever I had little knowledge, I could ask a lot of questions and he explained. So that question answer is what made me to think differently and then make me, oh, this is how you should think. Because he used to be offline. Just like that he can tell any sloka, interpret, speak, learn. So the method is understood. Then, yeah, must have read this maybe 1,000 times. Good enough. 1,000 times you read, you get it if it is there inside you. That's it.
Yeah. And we need passion to and study,
Yeah.
then it's different. Otherwise,
And somebody should ask questions. Today somebody asked, can you explain it in 15 minutes? Somebody sent a message, then immediately I said, yes. The first 15 minutes of this video will be on a different practical version with the management, comparing with a company. That's what they wanted. So I did it.
There was a comment on Facebook from one of the yoga teacher,
Oh.
the doctor from Bala Yoga, and the Bala Yoga Bhavan and from Pondicherry.
Oh,
Yeah, he's one of our council members, and he's in the advisory council of the.
yeah, Balayogi, we shared the same platform 2-3 times, right?
Yeah.
What does he say?
He is not here. He
Okay.
was on Facebook.
Yeah, what does he say in the Facebook?
Let me see. You made a
What does it say in the Facebook?
let me see.
Awesome. Yeah. I just saw. Watching with you from Geeta. My brother Balakshnatan is also there. Good. Yeah. At least some of them are there on Facebook.
I said awesome.
Yeah, that's what I said. Yeah. It's a big blessing from such a learned person, no? Like,
His father was very close with Swami Bua.
yeah, many times it was mentioned, and he is one of the leading from Pondicherry.
Correct. Entire family.
In their family.
Yoga.
We had a beautiful time of music and all with his daughter and all that. I think 2-3 programs we were together, and he was also there in What India Needs, WIN program. He became one of the guests.
He was there.
Very busy man, involved in every time. Yeah. A great human being, great personality. They're blessed to get such comments from somebody like you.
So we'll see you all on next Sunday,
26th,
26.
the last good. What is that called?
Closing ceremony.
What
For
kottu
this-
is what
this group.
what kottu?
Kalasha
Kalasha.
Kuttu.
Kalasha.
Today we have another satsang, 1
Okay.
o'clock,
Mhm.
with the Argentina group.
Okay.
Isabel will be there, yeah.
Yeah, Isabel is very active, very busy.
Yeah.
Isabel is very busy and active.
That's good. Suji.
Maybe. Yeah. Delhi. Shuchi is from Delhi or what?
No, sir. I'm
Punjab.
from Lucknow.
Huh?
Lucknow.
Lucknow. Okay.
Lucknow.
Right. Thank you. You are in my contact, Shuchi.
Sir?
You are in my contact, no?
Yes, sir.
Okay. But you are not showing face, so
Yeah, I am familiar with the name, but
yeah, that's what we were asking. We were.
Sir, actually, I feel bad that I'm unable to attend this program regularly and attentively.
No, you should become happy that you are attending at least once in a while, right?
the recordings are on
Yeah,
Facebook.
but
You can watch.
I had a high level of enthusiasm at the beginning that yes, I will be attending, and I learned so and so. But
No, but everybody has got priority,
some of the
right?
other reasons.
See, priority matters. Everybody needs to prioritize the requirements. Nothing wrong.
Yeah.
Good enough.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
So see you everyone next Sunday, same time. We get this in from our email.
Thank you.
Thank you, DPG.
Thank you. God bless.
That's good.